I'm glad Stephen A. Smith exposed himself here as the racist that he is. It took one game for the race-baiting idiots at ESPN. You see these guys and girls on TV, you know they're racist clowns. You know they have nothing to give in terms of analysis. When people want to show themselves, let them show themselves. I mean, it's such bullshit. In a woman's basketball game, all over allegations. Isn't it funny how these guys will stand up for their brothers? All of this over one girl hitting, fouling another girl in a WNBA game? Wow. Stephen A. Smith, Acho, Ryan Clark, you've showed us exactly who you are. It took one game. One game for the race-baiting idiots at ESPN. And I can't leave Fox out of this because Acho's as big a dumbass as anybody. But it took one game for the racist morons of ESPN and apparently Fox, I don't know, to show how racist and stupid they are. Stephen A. Smith actually compared Indiana fans to those wearing sheets. Look, you got to understand something. You see these guys and girls on TV, you know they're racist clowns. You know they have nothing to give in terms of analysis. You know the only thing that they can give you is freaking racist rants. Let them show you exactly who they are. And boy, oh boy, are they showing you exactly who they are. Racist dumbasses over a foul in a WNBA game. A league that 2 years ago, not one person even knew started. When I had my other show, I went entire summers without saying the words Indiana fever unless I had a fever caused by something in Indiana. But these idiots, the Achos, the Stephen A. Smiths, certainly the Ryan Griffins of the world, can't stop exposing themselves. And I understand right now, as a white dude, me saying those guys makes me all of a sudden racist. I just react to who's the dumbest. And those three, when people want to show themselves, let them show themselves. Sit back, go, we knew you were a racist, fool. RG3's married to a white woman, and apparently, according to Ryan Clark, that means he can't speak on black women. What? Doesn't he have a mom, aunts, cousins, sisters, whatever? Huh? So Barack Obama is biracial. Does that mean he can speak on everyone, or does that mean he can't speak on no one? Well, he's not white. Well, he's not black, so he can't speak on anyone according to these idiots. Stephen A. Smith alleges people in sheets. Over what? There, to this day, has been zero evidence of anything that was alleged being proven true during the Fever Sky game. And, of course, the Sky are the biggest dumbasses. They cry wolf left and right. I mean, what are we doing? It took one day. Listen to this. Stephen A. Smith, even though there is zero evidence that anything happened at that Fever game racially, there is a ton of evidence that the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese will lie through their teeth about things happening. Stephen A. Smith went this route. You can have cats in sheets.
I'm the elder statesman of the crew here compared to this crew because I'm older than all of y'all, all right?
Combined.
And obviously obviously as a black man, I've had certain experiences. As black people, we've had certain experiences, but black men, we speak to it on a more intimate level in certain respects. I applaud the WNBA for their statement. Got no issues with it. I get where both of y'all are coming from. Y'all 1,000% correct. I don't disagree with a syllable that y'all have uttered. But I'm not as bothered by this as most people. Let me tell you why. I'm not bothered by this because I love when folks are stupid enough to show themselves.
Oh,
you see, what we need to worry about. Remember, as they say, you know, you can have cats in sheets. We see them coming. And they said, no, just take off the sheets. Some folks said, just take off the sheets. We just gonna put on a suit and infiltrate and look like everybody else. So ultimately, a wider scope of people can be contaminated because you don't know who is who. See, that's what's been happening in a lot of situations. And a lot of times when we see stuff politically, sports-wise, corporate-wise, etc., what we've missed along the way is fall back and let people show you who they are.
Yeah.
The WNBA stands with us because they put out that statement immediately. The NBA would stand with us because they put out that statement easily. You'd have players, male and female, coaches, assistants, executives, team owners, etc. Who's going to speak up? Who's going to be quiet? What you going to say? And why don't you say more? Or why are you saying less? These kind of things edify us and positions us to fight the real fights, as opposed to being distracted by fighting little menial things that happen on side. You can't legislate what's in people's hearts.
Yeah.
People who are trifling. People who ain't worth the damn ain't worth the damn. People who look at other people as being less, that's who the hell they are. You can spot them. I want to know who they got with them.
Yeah, that's really clever and that's really cute. But the truth of the matter is, when's the last time you saw anybody coming down the world in sheets? When's the last time you saw anybody coming down the road in sheets? I mean, it's such bullshit. An alleged Stephen A. Smith, Acho, Ryan Clark, you've showed us exactly who you are. We know what you have infiltrated. And by the way, as a white guy growing up in Gary, Indiana, I caught more racist shit than any of you. Annie, I had a Molotov cocktail thrown at our house. You know what a Molotov cocktail is? It makes the house explode. Just shut up. I mean, the truth of the matter is, when people show you who they're... See, Stephen A. Smith is trying to play both fence. He goes on the Republican shows, but I'm glad Stephen A. Smith exposed himself here as the racist that he is. You can tell he views the world as I'm on one side, white folks are on the other side. You can tell that. That's easy by what he said. Acho did the same thing. I'm making a video only for people that look like me. Really? Okay, so you exposed yourself. Smith, you can go on these shows and act like you're all things for all people, but you just exposed yourself. And you can talk your way out of it. You can bullshit your way out of it. But that's what white dudes, quote, in sheets do. They're your corner drugstore back in the day guy, right? Talking. That's what Smith does. That's what Acho does. But then they let you see who they really are. Acho was talking about black on black and don't let them win. I mean, who's them? I mean, this isn't about coming together. This isn't about bringing... And I'm glad these folks have exposed themselves because that's exactly what they have done. Ryan Clark exposed himself because he doesn't apparently like black dudes like RG3 that are married to white women. He apparently doesn't respect white women. I'm glad you told us who you are. RG3, you won't hear this anywhere else. Had a white dude said what Stephen A. Smith said about us versus them, had a white dude said what Ryan Clark said, they would have been fired before the words came from here to hit the microphone. All over a foul in a woman's basketball game. All over allegations. Isn't it funny how these guys will stand up for their brothers when there are allegations against their brothers? But boy, oh boy, they'll stand up. It's only allegations. Innocent until proven guilty. And now a bunch of liars who the Chicago Sky are and have proven to be, go back and see last year when they lied about being, quote, accosted going into a hotel, and even their general manager said, yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, the lying, I'm so glad Stephen A. Smith, who has been trying so hard to get mainstream, told us exactly who he is. Exactly who he is. Allegations lead to all of a sudden putting an umbrella over the people of Indiana. Now, I know he's going to bullshit his way out, but that's what he's doing. It's amazing to me we still fall. Actually, we don't fall for it. Nobody's fallen for any of this bullshit this time. We've seen it for the stupidity that it is. Girl got fouled hard. Girl fouled girl hard. Girl reacted to the foul. That's it. That's all. That's what happened. Kim English, I think he's now, I don't know, he's a coach at Providence, said exactly that on Twitter. Caitlin Clark fouled Angel Reese hard to prevent a basket. Angel Reese reacted to that foul. End of story. Basketball. So what? And now we've all sat back, we being both black, white, and watched the idiots expose who they are. If you didn't think Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark and Acho were racist before, oh, man, watch this act. And as our friend, our leader, our sensei, Clay Travis said, had white folks said those words, that they would have been fired immediately. Monica McNutt, who is, I don't even know why she's on our television, but whatever. She says, if this was the other way around, oh, Lord. Can you imagine what the conversation would be? Tell me what the conversation would be. I don't know. Here it is. Here's Monica McNutt.
I think folks that truly love the game of basketball need to be mindful. You need to respect the humanity of these women, whether you are Team Clark or Team Reese, although you can certainly be both, right? The aftermath, the fact that the WNBA has to put out a statement because of racist comments and unsafe conditions toward Angel Reese. Like, I just want people to be mindful that whether you like it or not, anytime something happens with the two of them, one is automatically put as a victim and one is automatically put as someone who needs to be saved, when in reality, both are excellent competitors. They both said this was a basketball play. Now, Greeny, let's be honest. If this was the other way around, oh, Lord, you can only imagine how the conversation would have gone.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And when you think about this circumstance in this day and age that we're in, a lot of people project their own subjective feelings on these ladies as, people that have gotten to know them. They just want to compete at the highest levels. Once the play was over, they were on to the next. But I lastly say this, when it comes to racism and the hateful rhetoric and the statement that the WNBA is saying, I think it's important because at the end of the day, if you are truly a basketball fan, you would understand and agree. We have no space in our game for those types of comments and also not, putting more gasoline on the fire in a circumstance where we're here to appreciate the beautiful basketball. That's all Caitlin and Angel want you to do. Why not just continue on that?
So that was the moment over the weekend, again, somewhat overshadowing, I think, unfortunately, Clayton Clark having this enormous first game. We'll watch where it goes from here.
First off, why do we need permission from these two clowns? Why does anybody need permission or to be told how to enjoy a game? Second off, just because somebody puts a statement out doesn't mean it's true. The WNBA put a statement out. Why? Because the Chicago Sky. Hey, if it's true, then we got a problem. But we're sitting here on Tuesday. The game was Saturday. Haven't heard nothing yet. Let me guess. I mean, if one person said one thing, the WNBA and the Fever and the whole league would be shouting from the rooftops. Why do I need permission as someone who has been playing and loving basketball longer than Monica McNutt's ass has been alive? I don't need permission. No, I don't care what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese want us to do. I don't care. People go to games. Angel Reese has set herself up as the villain to Caitlin Clark, and people reacted. It has been intentional. It has made Angel Reese the barnacle on Caitlin Clark's ass. So people react to that, just like any other sport. I saw a young woman today say this: if we can't, in the WNBA, get past daily drama and be known for basketball, we are not a serious league. You are not serious commentators, or you are not a serious league. If every single time some girl gets knocked on her ass by another girl, you idiots on ESPN make it a racial deal. You're not a serious league. You're a social justice league with DEI hires paid to be social justice warriors. No, it's true. Here's what Bobby, wait a second. Here's what Bobby Barack had to say. Something interesting about this McNutt clown. When she first started using race to tear down Caitlin Clark, she said she'd debate anybody on the topic. And given she has followed me for years and still does, I called her for a story addressing her falsehoods. When she found out it was me on the line, she said, sorry, I'm stuck in a meeting, hung up the phone. In short, she's afraid to debate anyone who doesn't agree with her negative view of white women. She's a total loser. That's all this is. That's all this is. Hey, look, people, this is racism exposed. When Monica McNutt shows you who she is, believe it. That's all it is. But truthfully, all of this over one girl hitting, fouling another girl in a WNBA game? Wow. Here's Ryan Clark, who has absolutely, along with Acho and Stephen A. Smith, exposed themselves as just the most racist among us. They hide it. They try to hide it. They do. They use their little words and their pensive look, but we see it. We hear it. Here's Clark attacking RG3 for having a white wife and speaking negatively about Angel Reese. Now, remember, this is over a foul in a woman's basketball game. Here's Clark.
Although when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on.
Really? So RG3 doesn't have a black mom? RG3 doesn't have black aunts? RG3 doesn't have black women in his life because he married a white woman? I'm telling you, the racism by Ryan Clark, it's beautiful. And I'm telling you also, when folks want to show you who they are, like Ryan Clark is dying to show you he's a flaming racist, dying to be that guy. He brings the guy's wife into it. They call her Milk or Snow. That's the code word from the brothers about white women. That goes back forever. Man, and the brothers get so mad. Now, Ryan Clark, I ain't going to say anything about anybody's wife, but Ryan Clark ought not be talking about anybody's wife. So let me see if I understand this. Robert Griffin III has never been around black women. And because he has a white wife, he can't talk about the, quote, plight of black women. Really? Okay. Yeah, if you say so. All right. It's the dumbest thing ever. We attack somebody's wife. And all these guys on Twitter like, well, Clark's right. Really? Why is he right? I get it because Clark attacked a white person. That's what we get. But why is Clark right? Can anybody tell me? So RG3 can't speak on black women. So look, Ryan Clark, you shouldn't speak on white men in sports. You're not having these conversations at home. You're married to a black woman. You shouldn't speak on white women in sports. You're not having these conversations. All over a foul in a woman's game. Huh. Unbelievable. Like I told you, man, Caitlin Clark's like Gandhi. Caitlin Clark is like a combination of Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Billy Graham. Damn, Socrates. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. However, there are many people doubting whether the noise was actually coming from fans. It appears from video taken in the arena as though the sounds derived from the PA system and weren't monkey noise at all. In addition, there's booing heard from the crowd, fairly standard. Yeah, booing is racist. Now, F off. But nothing clearly shows Reese facing racial attacks. And, of course, Acho had to weigh in. Acho's weighing in on the comments. Here comes Acho. Get a load of this. He's only speaking to black people. Imagine if I said that. Imagine if I said that. My man Gary would be like, yo, we want to speak to everyone. Yeah, we want to speak to everyone. Everyone. We don't want to just speak to people that look like us. But again, this is this guy, Acho. Don't ask Sage Steele about Acho. I have. Ooh. Anyway, this is our guy Acho exposing exactly who he is. Exactly who he is.
All right, let's talk about this Ryan Clark, Robert Griffin situation. Two people that I call friend, regardless of how you might feel about them. Now, usually I make videos for the masses, for everybody, but this specific video is for people that look like me. So if you don't look like me, keep on scrolling, or you can eavesdrop in on a conversation that might not be for you. Yesterday, Robert Griffin, he seemingly attacked Angel Reese when he said, Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Robert supposes that he knows what hate looks like. Today, Ryan Clark responds and seemingly attacks Robert Griffin when he says Robert Griffin doesn't have conversations about the plight of black women in his own house, implying that because Robert's married to a white woman, he doesn't have these conversations. Here's where I realize we are 24 hours later. A black woman, Angel Reese, has seemingly been attacked by a black man, Robert Griffin. And a black man, Robert Griffin, has seemingly been attacked by a black man, Ryan Clark. So ultimately, what have we been left with? A black man and a black woman being attacked, both by black people. So who's actually winning here? I know Ryan. I know Ryan well. I know Robert. I know Robert well. Ultimately, I believe that their hearts are very similar. They want the best from the world. They want the best for people that look like them, and truly they want the best for all people. But after 24 freaking hours, I'm really sitting here thinking that the only thing that has happened is that a black man, Robert Griffin, has helped fuel the attack of another black woman in Angel Reese by putting out his statement. And a black man, Ryan Clark, has helped fuel the attacks on another black man, Robert Griffin, by putting out his video. So it's just black people being attacked. And they're being attacked by the inciting of other black people. The reason I'm not hitting Robert or Ryan privately is because I think this conversation needs to transcend a private text message or a private phone call. Like, I really want people to hear this. What ultimately has been won? What's been won? Some retweets. Oh, you got figuratively dunked on. Oh, you got figuratively dunked on. Somebody's been called a coon here. Somebody's been called a racist here. Somebody's been called a sellout here. Somebody's been said they're dancing for the man here. But what's actually been won? Now, Robert's like implying that it's a bad look for ESPN, thus like maybe I should put Ryan's job in jeopardy. And then my dog Ryan's going back at Robert Griffin saying like he's the worst teammate ever. Just what's been won? What? Who's winning? Not people that look like me.
Who are you trying to win? And where'd the word? It's unbelievable to me. It's incredible to me. Like, this is because Robert Griffin said what? He said, I am, it's obvious that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, and this is what we're doing? This is where we're at? All because Robert Griffin said it's obvious that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. That's the problem here. And all of a sudden, this idiot's got to come on. Who's winning? What is it, black against white? Is that the deal? Don't watch this. I mean, can you imagine if a white dude said that? You know what I mean? I mean, honest to God. It's some funny stuff, man. It's some really funny stuff. Oh, man. I don't get all of this. This is all because a woman fouled another woman in a WNBA game. All right. And then everybody had to expose who the hell they are. Everybody's got to expose that they're racist clowns. Okay. All right. Well, if you all say so. Hey, enjoying the show so far? Of course you are. Make sure you head over to youtube.com/@OutKick/videos to like, comment, and subscribe. That's right. And if you want one of these great-looking shirts, do yourself a favor. I got gear over there at OutKick.com/shop. You'll never miss anything going on. Man, oh, man. It's amazing stuff in our world today. Amazing. Hey. All right, let's take a look here. This is the least shocking article to perhaps ever come from Awful Announcing, as the little blogger boys penned a piece titled "The NFL or the NBA could benefit by doing more to assist media coverage." Michael Grant. Michael Grant is such a bullshit little Weasley guy. Michael Grant, if Michael Grant, the author, says it, there's no reason to even do a segment on it. Adding, reporters and columnists trained in old school journalism are still the best equipped to tell these stories. Yeah. My ass. Michael Grant, you're a putz. You're a punk. You've always been a punk. There's never been a bigger punk other than Dan Wolken and Greg Doyle than you, Michael Grant. So just shut the fuck up. Seriously. He bitches about reduced media access. Michael Grant couldn't play a sport. The only thing he can play with is himself. Do they, media boys, not see Aaron Gordon's takedown of Ramona Shelbourne's locker room story from last week? They don't want to deal with you bums. All you bums. There's no old school journalism anymore. Do you ever see the fat-ass, goofy-ass guy that runs a journalism school in Indiana? You ever see that guy? That guy couldn't teach blind turkeys to take a shit. But here we are. Athletes in particular feel like they don't need traditional media when they can create podcasts and monetize their stories. However, what hasn't changed is that reporters and columnists trained in old school journalism are still best equipped to tell these stories. No, they're not. No, I would argue this. Front page to back page. Anytime there is an article written by a columnist, a reporter, not reporting on a score 4-3 or a statistic, but reporting on a sport, it ain't accurate. I mean, that's my sense. I've never had a story written about me, whether it has been in Sports Illustrated, the Indianapolis Star, the USA Today, had a monster piece written on me in the Indianapolis Monthly magazine, had a monster piece written about me in the Athletic. Spent 2 days, a guy did with me, and not close to being accurate. Not one old school journalist ever got me right. Ever. From bringing back round ball rock to adding Michael Jordan to its coverage, the network is embracing, athletes training in old school are still best equipped. The league is returning to NBC in October, and its broadcasting partner is hell-bent on embracing as much 90s nostalgia as possible. From bringing back round ball rock to adding Michael Jordan to its coverage, the network is embracing the past. None of this happens without the approval of the NBA. Part of these throwback vibes should include revisiting expanded media access. Oh, bullshit. Michael Grant's the kind of guy that just wants to take a peek or get an autograph. He has never written anything of interest to anyone other than Mrs. Michael Grant. The league and players' union seems content with doing the bare minimum. They should. They know how dumb you idiots are. Press conference and media availability are essential. For what? See, if I were a media guy, if I were a star in the NBA, I wouldn't do a press conference. I'd do my press conference either with I would do it if I were a star of the Pacers, Halliburton, who got ripped for not talking to the media. I would do it with the Pacers' internal media person, and then I would do it with my own. I wouldn't sit in front of these idiots who don't know a basketball being stuffed or blown up. I wouldn't do that. The best stories come from spending time and connecting with players, sometimes on subjects that have little to do with basketball. That's bullshit. I let a guy spend 2 days with me. The article was great. It's in the Atlantic or in the Athletic, whatever the hell that thing is. You can read it. It was titled, "Who Does Dan Dakich Think He Is?" And it was one of those deals where I could tell he really wanted to not rip me, but he wanted to write about, well, Dakich has an overinflated opinion of himself. And then by the end of it, totally different. But it wasn't filled. I'm reading that going, that's not right. Nah, that's not right. Nah, that's not fair. It's always the same thing. So these writers who have no basis in fact but only in opinion shouldn't be allowed because they will spin it to their bias. And that's not what writers were taught in journalism school. I didn't go to journalism school. I studied TV and radio, though. I didn't go through the actual journalism school. But I studied this stuff. I know what's taught. I took ethics. I took law. I know what we're supposed to do here. And the truth of the matter is, what are you going to do? I wouldn't let those idiots in. NFL human trafficking scandal is only a matter of time. Darius Taylor, 7 seasons in the NFL as a linebacker, was one of 250 people arrested as part of a major human trafficking sting in Florida. And this is not a joke. The operation was amazingly named Operation Fool Around and Find Out. The retired defender was among 255 people, including 36 illegal immigrants, busted in a 9-day police operation between May 2nd and May 10th in the Sunshine State. Wow. over 255 arrested, 141 were charged with soliciting prostitutes, 93 with offering to commit prostitution, 10 with running offenses related to prostitution, including such as aiding and abetting or transporting prostitutes, and 11 with traveling to meet a minor for sex or other child sex crime. This is horrible. This is the worst stuff. This is the stuff that the idiots on ESPN and Odd Show on Fox and others should be pissed about. But you won't hear a word about it. We're more angry at a white girl following a black girl and the black girl getting mad at a white girl. Damn. This is serious stuff. Darren Sharper, former safety, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for drugging and raping women in 4 different states. Kellen Winslow, tight end, sentenced to 14 years in prison after being convicted of multiple rapes and other sexual offenses against 5 women. Telvin Smith, former linebacker, charged with 3rd-degree child abuse for having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old. I don't think there's is there? I don't think so. Explanation needed on Deshaun Watson. I don't think so. Maybe there is. Is there? I don't think. Man. This continues to be bigger than Watergate, and, the mainstream media wants to cover it up. Liberal and woke media cower and continue to deflect blame for refusing to cover Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline. I saw it. You saw it. Everybody saw it. American people deserve answers as to who the hell was running the country. There are all kinds of conspiracy theories, including a picture of a monster Joe Biden walking through the White House. You see that one? This Biden looks bigger than others. I saw the movie Dave. If you haven't seen the movie Dave, look up the movie Dave. Man. Joe Scarborough saying F you to people who thought Biden was experiencing a cognitive decline. He's one of a bunch of these idiots who went out of their way to try to make everybody that even questioned what we saw. It's unbelievable. Here's Joe, what's his name?
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And
Hey, don't believe what your eyes are telling you. Believe Joe Scarborough on a crazy far left liberal leaning bullshit TV show. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, she was just too busy. She was too busy.
All right, I want to move to another topic, and that is my colleague's book with Alex Thompson on President Biden's physical and cognitive decline during his time in the White House. You were a co-chair of the Biden-Harris campaign. You stuck with Biden until he dropped out of the race. Given your position in the campaign, what signs of decline did you notice?
I've not read the book. I can tell you this, that as the book reports, cabinet members didn't have access. That tells you that, as a governor in a state, halfway across the country who was working her tail off, 160 stops on a bus tour that I headlined through swing states. I was busy working. I was busy doing the connection and the voter registration. And so I can't speak to that directly.
So you didn't see any.
I didn't see the president frequently, and I can tell you I can't speak to that directly.
Busy woman, cross country. What? CNN's Van Jones slams Democrats who covered up Biden's cognitive decline. What?
I don't care who you are, left, right, or otherwise. Anybody who cares about this country and about just the dynamics of power, this is the emperor's new clothes playing itself out in real time. Everybody knew, but everyone was afraid to say, except for David Axelrod for 2 years, that something was wrong here. And so, I was shocked. I love Joe Biden. I don't like him. I love him. I got a chance to work with him when I was a part of the Obama administration and loved him more every day. I was shocked to see his condition when he came out, and so was the world. And that wasn't the first time he was in that condition. The book makes it very, very clear. There are people who knew and said nothing. And that is a crime against this republic. And I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time for being a part of what is now being revealed to be a massive cover-up.
Whoa, look at the two white dudes over there. Tapper, and Tapper's amazing. Tapper, as I said yesterday, was paid a ton of money to spread lies on CNN. And then he's now being paid a ton of money to write a book acting like he is uncovering those lies. Wait, you're the guy that lied, and now you're acting like you uncovered these lies? Man, Jake Tapper got it figured out. Good for Von Jones. Out of white dude. I think it was one of them Axelrod guys sitting over there looking like he's half dead. It is amazing. By the way, friend of the show, Congressman Burgess Owens sat down with OutKick's Tommy Lauren yesterday and absolutely cooked Nike over the alleged gender affirmation care study, saying she believes it may take time to take a deeper look. It might be time, to take a deeper look at the woke company Nike.
You brought up something that's very, top of mind to us at OutKick, which is we still really can't get a straight answer from Nike about this trans study that apparently the whole purpose of it was to see if by debilitating young boys through puberty blockers, hormones, and the like, that you could debilitate them to such a level that they wouldn't have a competitive advantage competing against women. Now, we're not really able to get a straight answer from Nike whether they're partially funding studies like this, and I'm so happy that you've spoken out about it, but boy, this feels very icky. I've called it abusive. What's your take?
Well, first of all, I want to thank OutKick for not only seeing this, but bringing it to America's attention and for keeping it up front. No, this is what's called evil. When you're taking children, experimenting on children to see how it works out, so for your political agenda, it is pure evil. And I think that's what we have to understand again. When we talk about the idea of power, our country believes in we the people. We believe that we the people have the power. We should work with our kids. We're the stakeholders of our kids and take care of them. The other side wants to destroy the family unit. In doing that, they do stuff like this because they're godless. It's a godless ideology, and they have no fear of just going across the red line. I would say this: the American people need to keep up with this. Nike's the same group, by the way, that goes to China and use slave labor to bring their goods over here and become billionaires. This organization I have been against for a long, long time. When they started promoting kneeling back in the day when the flag was being raised. This is an organization that we need to take a good solid look at. I would not buy a thing that has a switch on it myself. And I think once American people start showing our power by the way we use our purse, then all of a sudden the organization will put the right kind of leadership in place so that they don't have to have this kind of pushback before they get it right. We need to focus on American people first, our culture, and teach our kids what that looks like.
Going to have Jonathan Hutton coming up in a minute. We're also going to play audio or video, whatever the hell it is, from James Comey. Hutton next. Let's go.